Hi everyone and welcome to term 2 of 10 Commerce, where this term will be focusing on accounting and teaching you some of the basics of accounting, which will hold you in good stead if you want to continue on into some of the commerce subjects in year 11 and 12. This term is going to be an interesting term, being remote, so get used to this way of presentation. All the information will be presented in this form with all of the questions. So you need to make sure that you work your way through, watch these videos as the slides as we go through will provide you answers for the workbooks and the worksheets that we'll be doing going forward. So accounting is the collection, recording and interpretation of data to look at performances of business. So we're going to start doing some of that by understanding what different classes of accounting assets and liabilities are, and trying to put them into a form where we can interpret results. And we'll be doing that by using Excel spreadsheeting as we go forward.
Different scares people. You think if you don't fight back, then maybe they'll like you. Stop picking on you, calling you a freak. Victim or not, make a decision.
Your son is a remarkable young man. It wouldn't surprise me if he has more in common with Einstein, Mozart, and Picasso than he does with us. He has highly advanced cognitive skills. The obsessive personality.
Can our son lead a normal life?
Define normal. Maybe he's capable of much more than we know.
Say you're the head of the Sinaloa cartel. Who can you trust to track your stolen cash? He's capable of coming in cold, uncooking years of books, and getting out alive. Imagine the secrets this guy has.
Who are you?
Can our son lead a normal life?
Define normal.
So that was definitely not what accounting is. So it might look fun on the screen, but we as accountants do not carry guns. But hopefully you enjoyed the film clip. I definitely enjoyed the movie. So as stated previously, accounting is the process of collecting, recording and interpreting the financial performance of a business at a particular point in time. In the running of a business, financial information is essential for up-to-date financial records, making decisions, measure progress, for taxation purposes. The government requires us to pay tax every year on our profits if we make a profit, and for accurate and current financial information, it increases the chances of us succeeding in our business. So in accounting, we learn about financial data and financial information. And there's two distinct differences between them. So financial data is the raw facts and figures upon which financial information is based. That could be your bank account and the transactions going through the company bank account. That would be financial data. Or the amount of sales that you make within a business through your invoices or receipts from customers, or that you've given customers for money that they've paid you. That is also financial data. The data of itself is important, but it doesn't necessarily provide enough information for us to draw conclusions. So we need to present that data into financial information. So the financial data we sort the financial data, we summarize it into a form that's usable and understandable for us and the business owner. So both financial data and financial information allow business owners to make good financial decisions for business success. You need to have financial data to produce financial reports, which is financial information. So here's some accounting terminology for you, which will help you with your worksheets, which you have to download and answer a few questions. Some of the key terminologies are the elements which are part of the balance sheet. So what we have assets. They're things that we own, something of financial value owned by the business. So it can be your bank account. Money in the bank is an asset. It's something that you own. People owe you money. They're called debtors. That is also an asset. If you have a computer system to run your business, it's an asset of the business. If you sell stock, that's an asset of the business as well. So they're assets. Liabilities are something of financial value that are owed by the business. So it's money owed to the business to somebody else. So if you had a loan from a business or a person, or if you purchased a house or purchased a building and there was a mortgage, that would be a liability. The actual building itself would appear as an asset on your balance sheet. The mortgage that you have outstanding on the property would appear as a liability on the balance sheet. Okay, so what's left over after you have your assets and you have your liabilities? So if you sold all of your assets and you paid back all of the liabilities that had a claim on those assets, whatever's left over is called owner's equity. So hopefully, once you've sold your assets and paid back all your liabilities, there is something left over, because that's why you run a business. It is the owner's equity. It's what the business itself owes to the owner after all assets are sold and all the liabilities have been paid. So let's have a look at some of the assets and liabilities here. And just to be comfortable with what is an asset and what's a liability, as we mentioned, computers can be assets if they're used in the business. A bank loan for running your business or buying other assets for your business would be a liability. It's paid to somebody else. Accounts receivable is money that you may have sold somebody something, either a good or a service, and they haven't paid you yet, so you've sold it to them on credit. So it's money that is owed to you. So it's accounts receivable or debtors. They're both the same thing. That would be an asset. The inventory, which is stock, is an asset. A loan to a friend, you assume that that friend is going to pay you back. It's an asset. A mortgage loan, so a loan from a bank to buy a property, would be a liability. A delivery van, if you make deliveries of product, would be an asset. And there are a few others there. The cash register, a bank overdraft. The bank overdraft is an interesting thing. If you've got money in the bank, it's an asset. If you go into the red or start using some of the bank's money, it's called an overdraft, which means you've got to pay it back. So your bank goes from an asset to an overdraft if it's overdrawn, and that's a liability. Accounts payable are when you owe money to other people for supplies that they've given your business. So they've given you product or services, you haven't paid for them yet. Accounts payable is you owing them the amount that they have charged you. So accounts payable or a creditor. Bank overdraft we've covered, and there's other items there, such as photocopier, loan from the bank, and office furnitures. All businesses will have different assets and liabilities, because all businesses are unique. So there'll be different assets and different liabilities that will be categorized on the individual business's balance sheet. So that brings us to the most important part of Year 10 Commerce, and it's the accounting equation, which is an equation that you need to know all the way through to Year 12 accounting. So it's the balance sheet. The balance sheet is a statement that shows the assets and liabilities of a business at a point in time. So for example, the end of the month or end of the year. And the way that the balance sheet is written, so on one side you have the assets, On the other side of the balance sheet, you have the liabilities, so items which you owe to other suppliers. And if you take the assets away from the liabilities, you end up with the owner's equity. So on the left-hand side of a balance sheet, you list all the assets. On the right-hand side, you list all the liabilities plus the balance, which is the owner's equity, which is the assets minus the liabilities. Okay, so here's a little task which consolidates the assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity equation. So if we've got in part A, we've got $60,000 worth of assets, it equals liabilities on the right hand side of 22,000. What's the balancing item? It will be owner's equity, and that owner's equity balance would be 38,000. 38,000 for owner's equity, 22,000 for the liabilities, equals 60,000 for the assets. So just have a quick go of B, C and D, and in a second I'll show you what the answers are for those particular equations. And here's the answers for you. As stated, 38,000 for part A, assets of 58,750 in part B, which is liabilities plus owner's equity added together. Part C, we had liabilities of 15,300. You get that by having the assets of 26,750, take away the owner's equity of 11,450. And the last item, we had 16,200 of assets, take away $11,700 worth of liabilities, and we're left with a balance of 4,500 for owner's equity. Pretty straightforward, really. So this term we're going to be working with a fictitious business called Gills Garden Gurus to help him with his entry and analysis of accounting data. So what you need to do is you need to download now the Gills Garden Gurus workbook, which is within this lessons folder, and save it to your Commerce A folder. I'll be checking up often through Hapara to see how you're going, to make sure the questions have been answered. So if you can do that. Today you're looking to answer questions A to D. So these can be typed directly into the Save workbook so we can check your answers. If you want to, you could actually print it off if you can print it off at home and handwrite, entirely up to you, but then you need to take a photo of it and again save it into Hapara. So probably typing directly into the workbook is going to be the easiest thing to do. So for the rest of the week, we're going to lesson 2, we're going to continue with the accounting introduction. Other things that you need to do by the end of Friday is you need to lodge through MASCOM, if you haven't already done, your McDonald's Corporate Social Responsibility Report. The absolute time for lodgement, final time, is Friday at 5 p.m. if you haven't already done it. Nothing will be received after that particular time, and no lodgements will be received other than through MASCOM. So you need to go on to MASCOM, lodge it, and then that's the only way we will verify that that you've actually lodged the document and completed it. So if you don't lodge it, 0 on the report, and we'll be contacting the parents, but you'll still have to do the report, but it'll be for no marks. The final thing that I want you to do for this week is to the share market game. Share market, there's been some big changes in the share market over the last few weeks. After initially crashing, it's bounced back again. So I want you to get together with your teammates for the share game, have a discussion over Skype or whatever it is, to work out what your strategy is going to be for buying and selling, and working out how you're going. Remember, there are prizes on offer for the share market game, so all teams need to record their current portfolio balance on the bulletin board on the class page. So if you can do that before Friday, then we can have a look and see which teams are in the lead, and look at who we're chasing each week. But it's a good way to keep in touch with the stock market and how all the stocks are going. And if you have any questions at all to finish here, just ask either of your teachers through your bulletin board or through your forum on your class page. If you need further help than that, other than the forum, you can also book a time for us to get together into a Google Hangout and have a chat one-on-one if you like, or in a group of 3 or 4. So enjoy the first week. I hope you enjoyed this first lesson. If you've got any questions on the workbook as you're going through, just ask. All the best for now.